I'm Hope Bryant. I'm the founder, chairman, and chief executive officer of Operation Hope. Financial literacy is a civil rights issue of this generation, in large part because of the parallel legacy to Morehouse. March 3rd, 1865 was the founding of the Freedmen's Bank, which was chartered by Abraham Lincoln and later run by Frederick Douglass, who people know as an abolitionist, but he's really a businessman and a leader in free enterprise, which gave him freedom to be an abolitionist. That bank, unfortunately, failed when Lincoln was assassinated the month after it was created. It was a bank chartered to teach free slaves about money, financial literacy, 1865. Well, 2 years later, here comes on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 1867, the founding of Morehouse. Can't make this up. The predecessor of Morehouse, which was deeply rooted in spirituality and charting ourselves out of freedom through education and empowerment and leadership, and through several iterations and leaders who adopted the philosophy of Morehouse. Here comes the movement from freedom to civil rights, most notably John Hope, who was your first president, and then Benjamin Mays, Dr. Benjamin Mays, who was also a notable president, who then mentored Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which is one of arguably your most famous alumni, who pioneered with my mentor, Ambassador Andrew Young, civil rights, which is now the beacon for light and hope in the world. And so we want to go from civil rights to civil rights. From marching in the streets to closing business deals and ownership in the suites. And that is the closest analogy I can give to a Morehouse man. The Morehouse Candle in the Dark Award means an incredible amount to me, not just because of the legacy of Morehouse, as I've already mentioned, goes back to 1867, went through several iterations alongside America's troubled history. In early 1900s, the 20th century, got its most recent iteration of name change and foundation leading. Never gave up, never gave in, never bent. Was always recognizing that darkness comes from light, not the other way around, that badness has failed goodness, and that Lucifer is a punk, that God gives the devil permission to exist, and that the Lord sits on the throne. And so to have a candle in the dark, presented by and through my friend Dr. Thomas, who I think is one of the most underrated, understated, underappreciated, brilliant minds in the world today, means an incredible amount to me. And I just hope that I can live up to the honor by doing 10 times the work and putting the economic plumbing into our system for our people, so that we don't have to ask for a candle anymore. We just light up the whole room. When I founded Operation Hope in 1992, April 29th was the riots in South Central LA, the Rodney King riots. May 5th was the founding of Operation Hope after the Bankers Bus Tour. I was dismissed. I was discouraged by leaders who did not, who looked like me, by the way, who did not embrace me. They treated me like a kid. Well, I was 26 years old. But I had a vision that was worthy of recognition. I was also talking about financial literacy and free enterprise and capitalism, and it was not something back then that was at all appreciated. And so I had to learn the hard way that first they will ignore you, then they will criticize you. If you keep at it, then they'll try to copy you, and ultimately you win. Well, that is as close to a Morehouse man's building of their spirit that I can find. And I didn't go to Morehouse, I didn't have that benefit, but I certainly had the Morehouse spirit through books and learnings of Dr. King and Benjamin Mays and John Hope and other leaders and heroes and sheroes that came out of Morehouse. And so that indirect inspiration of Morehouse allowed me to walk through the valley of death and non-support that I felt I received back then to realize that eagles don't fly in packs. You've never seen a flock of eagles. Buzzards love packs. And turkeys got wings and can't fly. So I just kept focused on the goal. And today I walk through life consciously oblivious of most things around me because it just doesn't matter. And I think that that vision that sparked in 1992 after the Rodney King riots, that fire is lit today like a candle, like an illuminating incandescent, unending, perpetually fueled candle of hope, a light on the hill. It's as powerful today as it was when I founded the organization in 1992, and more so because now we've proven the model, and we're not trying to convince anybody of anything anymore. So it's institutionalizing now, and that's the next movement, to go from me to we, to be a small part of what Morehouse has already created. If I had a piece of advice or a counsel for Morehouse men, it wouldn't be the obvious. Like, you've already been taught that you're God's child. You've already been taught that you're dignified and dignity rich. You've already been taught that you are indescribably intelligent, and they've unleashed your potential through talent and confidence in the world. You walk with your shoulders back and your head up already. Hopefully, many of you are getting your PhDs in your chosen endeavors of life and success. So I'm not going to waste my time on that. I actually would give you some odd advice. Don't take yourself too seriously. That you want to walk with a light touch and learn to get out of your own way every day. You become reasonably comfortable in your own skin. You've already got the confidence. Now I want you to have the self-esteem. You've already got a talent that the world appreciates. Now I want you to have a spirit that you can appreciate, that God can appreciate, that your friends can appreciate, because there's a humility, a la Ambassador Andrew Young, that says without saying anything, I am somebody. But when you got the power, you don't need to use it. So I want you to step over mess and not in it. I want you to talk without being offensive, listen without being defensive, and always leave even your adversary with their dignity. Because if you don't, they'll spend the rest of their life trying to make you miserable. It becomes personal. I want you to understand that you've already got it. Now you just need to go get it. The next frontier for America, and by extension the world, is actually you. The world's aging. There are not enough white men to drive the American GDP. That's not a racial comment, it's just math. People are afraid because they feel that somehow people of color are pushing them out of the way. We're not pushing them out of the way. We're expanding the table and adding a chair. There's room for everybody at the seat of progress and opportunity. But people are threatened by you. They threaten you by you because you are the future. The youngest people on the entire globe are Nigerians on the African continent, about 18 years old. You have changed, black men and black women, have literally created culture and cool in the world. Think about that. If we say something's cool, it's cool in China, it's cool in South Korea, it's cool in Poland, where I was at two weeks ago. If we say something's cool, it's cool everywhere. Imagine if we apply that to business, to technology, to finance, to healthcare, to actually all the things that drive the economy. Imagine if we become not just Black Lives Matter oriented, but Black Capitalists Matter oriented. Imagine if we became the change we want to see in the world, and then we brought everybody else with us. Whew! We're living in a moment in history, but history does not feel historic when you're sitting in it. It just feels like another day. But that does not mean the moment is actually not historic. We're in the third Reconstruction. This is the civil rights movement. We've got to go from the streets to the suites. Well, who's better prepared to go into the suites than you? This is a new movement and a new constituency and a new time. And artificial intelligence is going to change everything. So the two things you've got to learn beyond what you've learned in these books, you've got to get financial literacy education, because money's all around you. It's everywhere all the time. If your day's not about God or love, your day's about money. And nothing changes your life more than God or love than moving your credit score 120 points. And artificial intelligence, these two things. And we've got the AI LP3, the Artificial Intelligence Pipeline of Prosperity and Literacy Project with Atlanta Public Schools, Mayor Andre Dickens, the HBCUs, which include our partnership with Morehouse and Dr. Thomas and now Georgia State University, as a pipeline of prosperity. Let's not wait for the jobs to disappear, for somebody to destroy 75 million jobs in AI by 2030. Let's be part of the creation of 88 million new jobs. Let's not be run over by AI. Let's ride the back of AI. It's not going to run us. We're going to master it. When you're being run out of town, get in front of the crowd and make it like a parade.
Sick.
This is our time. God has a sense of humor. Demographics are destiny. And literally, the world cannot succeed unless you do.